And out of curiosity, what was your goal or your vision for your career when you studied? Was it actually what you do now or something different?
So I guess my whole career trajectory was pretty rocky. I have always been a very creative person. So I originally really wanted to do something in the arts. Right after high school, I moved to Barcelona. I lived there for a year and studied interior design, but I quickly realized that I am a terrible interior designer. It's just not for me. So I went back to the States to kind of like regroup. And that's when I got my associate's degree. So after my associate's degree, I really thought that I was going to pursue art, fine art specifically, and painting. I got into Parsons and California College of the Arts. But that very summer, I got pregnant at 21, and that completely changed everything because I had to pick a career that I felt that was more stable for my son and to be able to provide for him. So things really became serious at that point, and that's when I decided to go into business communications. It just felt more natural for me than, for example, finance or accounting and that side of business. And then after that, I got a scholarship to Thunderbird School of Global Management, which is why I ended up studying global affairs and management. And that kind of helped me to really decide that I wanted to pursue marketing and public relations as well.
So is it possible that if you didn't get pregnant, you would end up maybe as famous artist or doing artist stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it could have happened. It could happen. There's no expiration when it comes to the arts. So I'm lucky. I do think that I will go back to it one day, especially with the way that things are heading in terms of AI and things changing in the marketing world. So we'll see, never say never.
And do you do that in your free time or still as a hobby?
I do, absolutely. I
Oh,
love
nice.
painting. I do oil painting as well as watercolor.
I can imagine it must be like a great kind of creative break because sometimes, or often, I'm sure that you can relate that when you work or create content for LinkedIn or anything else, when you need a break, it's really nice when you have some kind of hobby or creative break that helps you to switch off and focus on something completely different.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we spend so much time staring at screens that it's really healthy to have an outlet that's away from that sometimes. And it helps because it just really gets your creative juices flowing in a different way. And when you take a break, it actually helps to improve productivity, in my opinion, just to show up with a clear mind. And it's so hard, especially with social media, you're just constantly scrolling. If you're not scrolling for work, then you're scrolling for personal. So that's one way to kind of force myself to get away from
Yeah,
all of the social platforms.
I feel the same. It's like a scrolling and you have excuse that it's for work, but then there is like a line if it's work or if it's entertainment or distraction. So very relatable. And
Yeah.
you also mentioned before that after you got pregnant, you still continued studying. So what was it like for you? Because I can imagine it must be super busy. Of course, you want to need to take care of your child, but at the same time studying. How did you juggle everything, manage? What was it like to get back to studies?
It was hard. And so what I ended up doing is freelance, and I would start with just reaching out to, one business and helping them manage their social media. At the time it was so different because this was quite a long time ago. My son is 14 now. So in terms of social media, there was just Instagram and Facebook. Those were the things that I would manage. Very different. I would also help with like writing email copy, website copy, creating flyers, just anything that I could do for local businesses in the Phoenix area. So I worked with a range of businesses, anything from like a dentist to a dog groomer. I mean, just all over the place. And I did that freelance work just because it was the only thing that would allow me to be able to study, see him, and then also, make some sort of income. So that's kind of how I balanced that. And that's why I waited until after my master's degree to really get into corporate because then I had the time because then it was just, taking care of him and going to work versus also having to study.
I think it's a great reminder because we often have excuses about time and everything, but this raising child, trying to make money and studying, it just proves that if you don't have excuses, you can find a way how to make it work and how to manage everything.
Absolutely. And like I was a single mom too. I was only with his father until he was about 6 months old. So that, added a whole nother layer of complexity to it. But you really, when you're put in those kind of situations, you don't really have the option to fail. There was no, I had to take care of him. So I did what I had to do. And everything turned out great, and now I'm in such a different position. I actually have a 1.5 year old, and I just feel like her experience with me as a mom versus his experience with me as a mom is going to be completely different, because I kind of had to grow up with him, versus with my daughter. I'm much more established. We have a beautiful home and a stable family now. So definitely a different life for the two of us.
And I can imagine must be very different kind of progression from the work, because as you said before, back then, I don't know if it's 10 years ago, social media just with Facebook and Instagram, and now you have so many other platforms. Plus, now you have AI, and everything moved so much. It must be completely different world as well.
Absolutely. I mean, just the very nature of social media has changed so drastically. It used to be, something that was supplementary for brands and even for marketing, and now it is this, in my opinion, the central part of marketing. That's where people's eyes are. So it's really become extremely valuable for brands, and it's become a huge machine. It used to be very normal for there to be one person doing social media. Now there are entire teams with various roles within a social media department. So it's just it's really evolved, and now I'm very curious to see how things are going to continue to evolve with all of the new AI tools and things like that. It's changing at such a rapid pace. I would argue that marketing probably changes faster than any other industry.